I have a question for you. Breaking bad habits or creating good habits? Where do we start? More about that just after the amazing panoramic intro. Whoa! The Day One Journey, episode 70. Cha-ching. Yeah. So, do you have an answer? Where do we start? Breaking the bad habits or creating the good habits? That's a pretty good question. Let's take a walk. Well, I tell you, for my personal experience, for years I've been fighting my habits, fighting my bad habits, and fighting with myself, creating the good habits, and I'm still doing that. Yes, we are work in progress. So still, when you start that kind of process, it's a good idea to know where it is best and most effective to start. So, breaking bad habits or creating good habits? Well, it took me years to make some certain distinction that helped me understand where, at least for me, it's best to start. So I'll share with you this distinction, and you can relate to that and maybe change the way you approach habits. Yeah, are you ready? So my distinction was this. I made a distinction between habits and mini habits. And let me explain what I mean by that. Habits are those big habits that are pretty challenging to break or to create. Meaning, the bad habits can be smoking, it can be drinking too much alcohol to the extent that you don't want, maybe treating other people not as polite as you want, etc., etc. These are many bad habits that are pretty challenging. These are not mini habits. And the good habits, not mini habits, are the things that are, yes, challenging for us to get into, like waking up very early in the morning, going to sleep very early, going to work out every day. These are challenging habits. You see, because it takes a time and energy and effort. However, there's the mini habits. Yeah, the mini habits. And this is the key of this episode, understanding what are these key mini habits. So these mini habits usually just requires us to just have a little bit of attention. If we're just aware of them, we can cut them pretty easily. What an example. I share with you one of my first habits that I was just cutting off, and for me, again, I'm saying for me it was pretty easy. That was watching the news. Yeah, watching the news, like I was doing it it's the mini habit. It's still a habit, remember, it's still a habit. A habit in the sense of you doing that unconsciously. However, it's mini habit because it's very easy for you to break it. You just need to raise that level of awareness. So I was just saying to myself, okay, there's the news, but I don't really want to see the news because for many reasons, basically it's not helpful for me. Yeah, it's not only the news, it's the bad news. But I think we'll talk about that in another episode. Either way, it was easy for me to cut it. I just need to be aware of it and just cut it. So this is what makes it a mini habit. A mini bad habit. But you might say, it's not bad. Well, let's give it another name. A mini not helpful habit. Yeah. Because this is the key thing here. It's a little bit not that obvious because they're not that bad. Yeah, these are the mini bad habits or the mini not helpful habits. The mini good habits are, again, same thinking, the small things that is very easy for us to just start. Yeah, an apple a day. Yeah, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Eating an apple a day, this for me, is not that hard. I just pick the apple and I eat. I just need to think about that. That's what makes it a mini good habit. Because it's not that difficult, like going to the gym and work out 2 hours a day, etc., etc. So this is the distinction between habits and mini habits. Now, where does it help us to understand? Where do we start? Remember the first question we asked today. Where do we start? Breaking the bad habits or creating the good ones? So my answer for that is breaking and cutting off the mini bad habits or the mini not helpful habits. Why do we start there? At least why do I prefer to start there? Because you might say, I want to start with the good things. I'm a positive person. I want to start with the good things, with the good habits. Well, that makes sense. But the mini not helpful habits, it's easy to start with because they are easy to cut off and they give you energy. Yeah, they give you energy and time. For example, I was cutting off playing computer games at the age of, I think, 18 or 17. I just cut them off. So for me, it was the mini habit. Maybe for you, it's not. But just an example. So I cut them off and then I got time. Yeah, I just got extra time. So you get energy. Remember the morning series? The morning routine series or the daily series, daily routine series? We spoke about the 3 basics. Energy, focus, and communication. So this is about energy. When you cut these mini habits off, which is easy to cut because they're mini habits, you get a burst of energy and time because you just have more time and more energy for other things. That is why it's, at least in my opinion, best to start there. Because you get more energy to do the other stuff. And most of the other stuff are challenging stuff. Yeah, the big habits. Because the big habit, you know, there's the quote of Mark Twain. It goes something like that. Habit is habit. And not to be flung out of the window by any man, but coaxed downstairs, one step at a time. You see, habit, it's not something that you can throw out of the window. You need to walk it hand by hand down the stairs. Yeah, it takes time. So these are the big habits. That's why it's not always so smart to start there, because you might be overwhelmed with too much things going on in the day, especially in these days. So that might be the best tip for you. Start with the mini bad habits. And yes, they are a little bit decisive, deceitful. Yeah, they are, because they are not that bad. And that's what makes them so dangerous. They are disguised as just habits, but they are not helpful for you. And if they are not helpful for you, you can eliminate. So that was the episode of today. Back to you. I want you to think about a mini bad habit that you have, and it might probably be a mini not helpful habit, something that you do every day and that just takes time and energy from you, and it's not as helpful for you. I want you to raise the level of awareness, think about this habit, and consider cutting it off. It will give you time and energy to work on the things that you really want to work on, cutting the really bad habits and creating the good, amazing habits towards your dreams. So raise the level of awareness and think about one mini bad habit, one mini not helpful habit that you do every day that you can cut off and get the time and energy to do the things that you really want. Yeah, so I guess we're done for today. So have an amazing day 1. See you tomorrow.